All right. Hey, guys. Let's get into this, shall we? Let's start out with just a collective message. We'll see where this one takes us. We'll see whatever zodiacs pop up as we get going here. But we start out with the Seven of Pentacles in the reverse, and then also the Ten of Wands upright. Sun Truth VZN, great to see you. This looks like there's a laying down of burdens, obviously, and out of something from the past that was really stressful. We actually have like nurtured new growth, which is great. Even here, it's like it's time for the harvest, right? The Seven of Pentacles in the reverse is like there isn't any more need to, try to get more out of a situation. We've already achieved it. A 10 is a completion of a cycle. And thankfully, this is like I can finally lay down the burdens. This could be a story where two people are finally like really able to let go of each other, let go of an ending. This could also be letting go of fear, guilt, shame, remorse. This could be one person. The only reason I suggested two is because we actually have two people like talking over the fire, and that could represent, some, intense dialogue back and forth. But we definitely see a lifting of the pressure. Now we do have a Leo, Sag, Aries, and then also a Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus vibe starting us out. We got a Page of Cups. The Page of Cups is like, nah, I can say sorry now. And by the way, we have all this good luck and fertility coming in with the bunny. This feels like we could have characters in a much better energy. They're really ready to connect. They're ready to talk to each other. One person certainly is like, I'm no longer stressing about what I said, what I did. Instead, I'm just, I'm sorry that's not how I wanted it to come out. We get to a point where we drop. Sometimes guilt can make somebody not able to come forward and say sorry. But when we get to a point where we go, honestly, my ego doesn't matter anymore so much. I just need to go ahead and say that I'm sorry. That is what needs to happen now. I feel like it's, how great to get your burdens off your shoulders and just come in and do what you need to do. We have the Hierophant in the reverse. I'm sorry that I didn't, follow my higher self. The Hierophant is, this could also be somebody who's changing belief systems. This could be a story that let's go down a road of, let's say two people, let's say family members have been arguing, fighting about belief systems, and that's so common, right? We can have different political views, different religious views, different views on anything. What the best car manufacturer is, it doesn't matter. You can have very heavily, embedded belief systems. And when one person, possibly this, because it's a page, we'll say a child, doesn't actually agree with a parent's viewpoints, it can cause great tension. And for a while, it can be such hostility. And it's like, I don't even talk to my family anymore because we don't agree on which flavor of Jell-O is the best. How could they possibly believe that it's lime when it's clearly raspberry? I'm just giving a goofy answer to this, but obviously it was something with a lot of heat to it. And this argument or this distance carried on for a long time. And finally, it's like, you know what? This doesn't even matter anymore. I don't care about whether they're right, whether I'm right. I care about the fact that I'm sorry that we had this kind of, argument, because although I may have a different belief system than you, it shouldn't have had to become like a nightmare. It shouldn't have had to become a big fight. Now, let's say this is about lovers. There very much could have been lovers that had some huge argument, some huge problem, and the whole source of it could have been, if somebody wants to come in and say sorry now, maybe I wasn't ready to be married. That's why I behaved the way I did. I wasn't ready to be married. I shouldn't have been, I should have been honest about that, but I wasn't able to. And I'm sorry that I just didn't say that, especially to a Queen of Swords who expected the truth. That's all I should have done. I feel like there was some huge upheaval, particularly about belief systems, marriage, the inability to fully commit. And somebody says, I'm sorry that I didn't fully commit. Or like I said, if this was a family oriented thing, it's like, Mom, Pops, I'm sorry, but I'll never believe the way you do. You raised me to be intelligent and be an independent thinker. So yes, I have a different belief system than you do, but I don't want it to be the thing that makes us unable to speak anymore. And I still respect you, but I'm doing my own thing. So we could have that storyline where it's all family related, or we could have this about lovers. Now, the reason I'm still torn between which it is because we don't really have lovers anywhere here. We are dealing with the aggressive hostility that is now fading away and being replaced by the desire to just say, I'm sorry that this is the way it went. That wasn't the way it should have gone. And to be like able to communicate in this truthful way. So that's why I'm like, what we're seeing is a scenario where we're getting to a resolution time after the huge, hurricane and the fighting and the fire, and we haven't talked in forever. And now it's like, I can't even believe that I let this become such an issue for so long. Ace of Pentacles, and this is somebody offering like a new beginning. Could this be the fresh start between us now that I've said the truth? We have the Strength card. Look, I feel like there's a lot of love here. And I say that because this is the story of Tamlin. So from the Celtic world, the story of Tamlin is that she is walking through like the foggy moors one day, and she comes upon this man who she immediately falls in love with. They immediately make a baby. And so she is now pregnant. And along come the evil fairies, which in Celtic mythology, they are evil. And they abscond with him, take him away. And they've enchanted him, and he's being led away on horseback. And Tamlin loves her man, doesn't want to lose him. So she does this very brave thing. She has to, basically save him. So she has to knock him off the horse. And then because he has been enchanted by the fairy, she has to like wrap her arms around him and hold him tight while he transforms through these various ferocious beasts, which could cause great personal injury to her, right? So we see her here holding on to him while he becomes an alligator, while he becomes a lion, while he becomes a wild boar. But she loves him so much that she's like, I don't care. I'm not letting him go. Even if it's at risk to me, I believe in this. I'm positive I can get him through this. And sure enough, then the enchantment is broken and he ends up, free of the fairies. And I guess it's a happily ever after for the two of them. But it is, the only reason to mention all that is it's kind of mythology week, but also because the power of love is here. Now we could still apply this to romantic love or the love of, parent and child. Those bonds don't break no matter how much, difficult transformation goes on. No matter how much difficult transformation may still go on, the bond is there. The desire to like build something new is really, really, really strong. Now I'm thinking it's strong for both people, but let's break this down and let's take a closer look at, I think I want to take a closer look first at the Page of Cups. Can I see more precisely? Actually, no, hang on. Let's first go to the Hierophant in the reverse, because that's kind of a core. It is the core of this story, really. We have a Two of Wands. Okay, so we know that somebody was indecisive. That's starting to make me think that this probably is somebody who wasn't ready to be married and they didn't want to admit it. I should have said I wasn't ready to be married. Two of Wands, I wasn't sure. But what's weird is with that Two of Wands, we still only see one pathway, which is like, I wasn't ready, and yet I knew you were the one to marry, but I wasn't ready to be married, even though you were the one. Like, that's what that looks like. Eight of Wands, I should have talked to you about it instead. You notice how we have this lion here, but he's like holding her in his paws while she sleeps. We've got the Judgment card. We've got the Six of Wands. I don't know. There's something here about like, they were still reinventing themselves. Maybe they were recently divorced. This could be somebody who was recently divorced, because we have the Phoenix rising from the ashes on the Judgment card. Like, I was still trying to get my confidence back. I was reinventing myself. I should have been honest. I should have told you I wasn't ready for marriage. I wasn't ready to, look at something this serious, even though I knew you were the one that I would want to marry. But I think I overspoke. I said I wanted something that I really wasn't genuinely ready for yet, because I was still rebuilding myself. I think this is one of those situations where promises were made too soon. Expression of like how serious an intention was said way early, but the person who maybe proclaimed like, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to be together, because they're like, I did know it was you, But it would be like if you walk into a place, let's use car sales as an example. Let's say you walk onto a lot and you're like, I'm looking for my dream car. Now, right now, I don't have any money saved for it. I couldn't even afford that. But I'm going to go and I'm going to test drive, spend a whole day shopping for a, $85,000 car. And maybe I'm going to let the people at the front desk believe that I'm in the business to buy a fancy car today. They don't know I'm 10 years away from being able to do that. Heck, maybe I dream of this when I retire. This is something I'm going to gift myself when I retire in 25, 35 years. But I love this car. This is the car I want. This is the car I want to test drive. My intention is I will own this car someday. But I conveniently forgot to tell the car salesman, I can't buy this today or anytime in the next many, many years. You probably won't work here by the time I'm ready to buy this. But this is my intention. Love this car. You got to be honest about timelines. Otherwise, you look like a big fat liar. But this storyline says, at the core of everything, it shouldn't have been handled this way, because now it looks indecisive when, no, you knew you wanted to buy that car, or no, you knew you wanted to marry this person, but you weren't ready to marry this person now. So why'd you even speak those words? Is it to tell somebody I'm really serious? But that kind of feels like you're setting them up for, like, I don't know. I could see the insult on one hand. You could look at it in two different ways. It's like, I'm really serious, but I still want to go slow. But I just want to make sure that we're in like a very monogamous relationship where that there's long-term intentions. I already know you're so important to me. But P.S., I don't want you to go looking for anybody else. I want you to be serious about me so I can reserve you for when I'm going to be ready to be way more serious. But it's not going to be now. I mean, that's gives a lot of weirdness, a lot of mixed signals. It kind of feels like somebody's hoarding stuff for themselves while not actually being ready for a bigger offer, but they want to make an offer that they are not going to sign their name to. It's very much like, it's not even putting down a deposit. It's just announcing you want this, but signaling that and then doing something about it is two different things. So I don't know, this feels very confusing, and it feels like moving forward without actually moving forward because they weren't really ready. They were still trying to reinvent themselves with that Phoenix rising from the ashes and the Six of Wands, trying to feel good about themselves. And they weren't necessarily there yet. Not when we have the Judgment card and then the Six of Wands. I don't think they were there yet. So they signaled they were very serious when they were not ready for something that serious. Okay, so now let's go backwards one card and say, so let me just because it's about, I'm ready to give this apology because whatever happened created a heated, fiery argument that ended things. There's been no growth. In fact, it's been a huge amount of time of thinking about things, thinking about the fight, the argument, and kind of learning from it. And now this person wants to give the apology. Now we can kind of see maybe what the apology is for, but let's let them talk. King of Swords, Eight of Cups. I'm sorry that I actually ended up walking away. I'm sorry that I started out being so consistent and then I got all wobbly, all wonky. I'm sorry that I did that and I walked away. Especially when all these little animals are booed up, right? Everywhere we look, we've got birds together. We've got, a little couple of butterflies. We've got the couple of dragonflies. Everybody's the couple of swans. All the little creatures of the forest are all booed up. And I said I wanted all that. And then I bounced. I said I wanted consistency. I want to be together. I want this. And then I got all wobbly, all wiggly. And I walked away. So I'm sorry about that. Okay, so, and keep in mind, they're a King of Swords wanting to talk to a Queen of Swords. Oh boy, let's go over here to the Queen of Swords. Let's give her own deck. I think this deck. Hi guys, so great to see you guys. Nice to see everybody. We got the Emperor in the reverse. We got the Four of Wands upright. The Queen of Swords is like, yeah, no, you weren't an emperor. An emperor is who they say they are. You were the opposite of who you said you were. I know you weren't ready because you didn't offer me what an emperor would offer. You talked about marriage, right? Four of Wands. But I even think that the Queen of Swords might have kind of an interesting retort that could be a little bit, look, Queen of Swords can be very blunt and non-emotional. So if they're coming in to apologize, if the King of Swords is coming in to apologize to a Queen of Swords, particularly after all this time and all this shit's already gone down, her response might be, dude, I would not have married you anyway. You were a freaking nightmare. Emperor in the reverse all day. You were inconsistent. You were bossy. You acted like you could tell me what was going to happen. You didn't ask me things. You didn't have follow through. Dude, I wouldn't have married you. She might be kind of blunt. She might be kind of blunt. A Queen of Swords has her power. The Queen of Swords is not like, how could you? Especially after all this time. She's probably going to answer pretty blunt. Like, you're coming back to tell me you're sorry you didn't marry me. Sweetheart, I wouldn't have married you for like, if you threw in, a house and $50,000, you think I was going to attach myself to you when you acted like that? No, you were not my partner. I feel like she's, this is kind of like a nice blunt twist that could actually lighten up this whole conversation, because now it's not this one direction dynamic of like, oh, I messed up. I probably broke her heart because I said I wanted to marry her. Then I disappeared. Okay, sure. All of that's not nice. But do you really think that you're the only catch? Do you really think that you're the only one out there? Do you really think that she was just sitting there twiddling thumbs? Oh, when's he going to come back? I really want that person that was inconsistent. Like, there's way more people out there to pick from. And you needed to meet like her expectations. And she's just kind of bluntly saying, I didn't spend my tears on you. Actually, it was kind of a relief when you took off because you weren't stepping up. You weren't, look, I expect this. You were this. I kind of think that this could be like a good, straightforward, like, it's all good. I wouldn't have married you anyway if I didn't like how things were going. Now, this, I'm sorry, I know it sounds really sassy, but I also think it brings in a little bit of like, remember, it was a two-way argument or two-way conversation. What if there was fire and fighting between the two of them? It may have been not that she was saying, why won't you treat me better? She might have been saying, what the fuck do you think you're doing? Not treating me like a freaking queen. I'm not accepting this. But it might have come across like, oh my God, she just really wants me to hurry up and marry her, but I'm just not ready. A Queen of Swords is not going to ask you to marry her, okay? A Queen of Swords might be like, what? Who do you think you are, not treating me well enough? And please bear in mind, this could be same-sex couple, this could be reverse gender roles, this could be anything. But it is interesting. What we're seeing in this story is the way two different people looked at a fight and an argument. I don't even know if they understood I definitely don't think that he understood maybe her perspective or why she was pissed. She might have been like incredulous, like, you don't behave in a certain way. You definitely don't behave like an emperor in the reverse with me and think I'm not going to call you out on it. Think I'm not going to stand up to tyrannical behavior. If you think the sun rises and sets on you and I'm simpering over here waiting for you to tell me that you'll marry me if only I'm a good girl or good boy, F that. Like, no Queen of Swords is sitting over there waiting for somebody to give them the pat on the head and the ring on the finger. That's insulting to a queen. Anybody with self-respect, that's insulting. And if that's the way she was being treated, she was probably pissed about that, not why aren't you marrying me? So I think they totally didn't get her, which is nice to clear this up, because I don't see that she's shed any tears. Okay, so now I know, I'm sorry guys, I got a mouth on me, but I can also say that would be me all day long. I am not a nice person. I am a very flawed person with quite a mouth. So bear that in mind. These are fictional stories, but I have to say, I really do see this. If I had seen her as like a weak character, if she had been in the reverse, I would have read it that way, but that's not what we got. So we can give her the voice of sass, because a Queen of Swords does say things bluntly. She's not fluffy. She just cuts to the heart of the matter and calls it as she sees it. So forgive me for being just, but that is what we got. Okay, let's go over here to the Ace of Pentacles with the Strength card. So Maybe these two are going to have a good laugh. Maybe these two are, remember, we actually have a pretty balanced energy between the Queen and the King of Swords right now. The way they could perhaps converse now could be everything's stripped down. There's no ego in the way anymore. There's the ability to talk bluntly and not super fluffy, emotional, but blunt, straightforward. So if at this point in time, these two either are recognizing like maybe this isn't about a love story, even though we talked about Tam Lin and that was a love story. Maybe it's like, I just realized we will always be like Clash of the Titans. I'm a Queen of Swords, you're a King of Swords. I mean, if you're going to behave like one now, you're going to be straightforward. You're going to be super honest. You're going to own, that you were all wonky for a while. Okay, great. Glad you could see that. Glad you're telling me that you're sorry. Like, that's a stand-up thing to do. I'm not pissed at you. I didn't want to marry you back then. You were a bastard, but I'm not mad at you now. You came clean. You're a king, whatever. But maybe we could be friends, or maybe there's a place for you in my life because we're matching all right now. We're definitely King and Queen of Swords at this point. We may always be Clash of the Titans. We may not be two people that have a soft and fluffy relationship, or perhaps we'd be great together, or maybe we should give this another shot because we're both on different footing now. We have the Death card. Look, everything is different. These two are not talking like ex-lovers. Not really. They're almost talking like blunt. Well, maybe he was coming in with an apology, but she's putting it into like, like the way I talk to my car mechanics, right? We shoot the shit. They're really nice. We joke around. They're amazing. They're, and it's just straightforward. Like there's no emotions involved. There's just, I'm there to do business. I busted my car again. What I do to it this time, they fix it. It's just this nice, easy business exchange with somebody we're comfortable with each other. It's nice, right? That's about the way she's talking to them at this point, because we got no fluffy, buffy love happening here. It's just straightforward. And I think that is a great way for them to really wipe the slate clean, because there's definitely don't imagine she was shedding tears over you, is what this storyline keeps saying. And so she's not like, she hasn't been panting and waiting for them to show back up. She's not 100% sure of what she wants out of this moving forward, but there is some understanding. And I even think like a greater mutual respect to a certain extent, but definitely no romance right now. What is the intention of the King of Swords coming in to say, I'm sorry I didn't marry you? I mean, again, we've already kind of crossed that bridge. We don't need to say it that way. But what is the intention? What do you want from her? Get the Five of Pentacles in the reverse. He doesn't want her to not be in his life somehow. He misses her. He feels like he's missing out on a great person. Okay. Does that mean, like, what is it that you're hoping for? Coming in to say you're sorry, what does that mean? Page of Wands. Well, there's still this little spark. I mean, this still looks like he's kind of like, I'm attracted still. I don't, but it's a page. It's a page. I don't know. We got the Four of Cups sideways. We got the Eight of Wands. Look, I think this is him trying not to come in like an emperor in the reverse and be like, sorry, I didn't marry you before. Now I'm ready to, let's go down to the courthouse. Like, he's not acting like that at all. I think it's that he's aware that he missed out on somebody really wonderful. He's definitely aware of that. I don't think he's ever fully like told her. I mean, this is such a beautiful card, right? In this whole landscape, what do we see? We see one feminine that dominates. And maybe this full moon was really transformative for him. Maybe it opened up a lot of the realizations of, I really did miss out on a person that she may never have me back. I don't even have a right to ask maybe for a romance, but I'd give anything to just at least be able to talk to her again. With that Eight of Wands, I'd give anything to have her in my life. There's like a missing chunk in his life if he's not ever even going to be able to like at least have her as a friend. I think he's a little bit scared to ask for like romance, or not scared. We shouldn't say scared, but I think he knows especially if he didn't understand her before, didn't understand the source of the fighting or the arguments, or didn't understand the level of, I would say, like disrespectful, um, you know, kind of thoughtless scenario that occurred. I get why it's like, I don't think I can rebuild anything with her other than maybe she'd be willing to talk to me again. Page of Swords, he's really wondering, how does she see me? Because I think she sees me as a kid, a scrawny little kid. And she definitely doesn't see me as loyal because we got two dogs walking in opposite directions. I think this is how she sees me. He's feeling pretty small, actually, even though he's assuming how she sees him. That's really, so maybe he's afraid to ask for much more. But there's definitely, he can't deny he wishes he could speak to her, have her in his life somehow, but he's not trying to ask for romance necessarily, even though he's still attracted. And I think he's kind of really wowed by her. Let me just ask this. Are you surprised by the fact that she's not been sitting around crying over you? Four of Swords. I think that answer makes sense to him because there's some stuff that he's healed in himself. I think now he can see it through somebody else's lens. But I think at the time, it was just like, oh man, she expects me to marry her. And even if I want to, I'm not ready to. So I should just bounce and just run away from her. Now that he's healed, I think it makes sense a little bit. Like, especially if she responds with, are you joking me? I wasn't mad at you because you didn't marry me. I was telling you off because you were acting like an emperor in the reverse. Like, that's, yeah, you've been thinking I was mad at you because you wouldn't marry me all that time ago. That's not what that was. I wouldn't have married you. I wanted you to know why I wouldn't have married you, because you were being a jerk. I think this is like, oh, huh. Let me like sift through this. I can understand this now. I don't even think it passed through his mind at the time that could have been why these two had fire and conflict. I don't think he could hear it at the time. Now with the Four of Swords, this is like, I'm quietly like assimilating this, learning this, understanding this, and I'm more healed so I can understand, oh, that was that's where the source of the fight was. That's where the problem was. Okay, that's not what I thought. Yeah, this is, there's definitely some breakthroughs in this. What do you want from him, Queen of Swords? Two of Swords. I don't really know. I don't really know. She's saying half of me would want to, maybe be friends with him. Half of me, again, thinks we might always be Clash of the Titans. Two of Swords is like, I kind of want to block him, but there's this other piece of me that I can't deny, like I'm enjoying a straightforward conversation. Look, a Queen of Swords and a King of Swords are going to have some good conversations, and even some blunt ones that can be fun, and maybe very eye-opening. So there's a duality to her. This is an awkward, you notice how we're in the awkward place. Like, I feel like if I were like a waitress, giving food to a couple that obviously is, haven't talked in 7 years and they're having this blunt dialogue. On one hand, I'd be like, whoa, I so want to be a fly on the wall, but I don't really want to have to interact too much with them because I don't want to get sucked into this. And that's the awkwardness here, where it's like we're watching their uncomfortable, I'm not sure. We're clearing up things of the past. Obviously things are different now. We're not at each other's throats. We're not fighting. We know that there's, I don't know, something else maybe that our conversation will morph into next, but I don't think they're ready for any more. I think today is enough for them. I think they need a timeout. They got to go back to their own corners and now kind of like let that sift through them. Okay, we just had a conversation that cleared up a whole bunch from the past. Now we're kind of in the place of, we're not mad at each other. We've cleared up the past. Where do we go? What the heck do we want? What are you asking for? What am I open to? I don't know. Everything's different now. I need to step away first. I think these two have to first establish a comfort zone again together, and that could take time. And they both need a break and just a chance to let this sit in their minds, in their hearts, and figure out what comes next. When I picked up this deck, I was thinking of this exact card. And so I'm not even surprised that it comes out, because this, I don't know, I just love this card in this deck. I can't even explain exactly why, other than with the Three of Wands here, sometimes I look at this as a mother with her two sons, and I always think that she's like raised them so well, and they are like these amazing men who have her back, but also she's like a great mom who raised them well and then knows I'm giving them the respect they deserve. They're men, not kids. They do their own life. And I always think that this is like a really respectful, but like bonded card, maybe, which is interesting to have that because it's very family oriented to me. But it's on the Three of Wands, which is about the future. Now, because of the context of this relationship, I don't look at it that way. Now it boils down to she is going to be the decider of what her future looks like. She, in this case, because she's front and center, I think she's going to have to sit and think about who she knew them as and who she's just been reintroduced to. And if they are a part of her future, which version of them can she actually see? Now, I would say she sees both sides. She remembers once upon a time, they were the guy who didn't know what he wanted and ran from me and somehow imagined that I was trying to get him to marry me. There's some stuff I don't like about that. On the other hand, he is different now. So he is both things. And everybody has a capacity to be foolish, to be petty, to be selfish, to be fearful. Like we all have the capacity to be our best self, our worst self. And I wonder if there's this element where she's like, well, at least I've seen both extremes of him, the best, the worst, his fears, how he behaves when he's not ready for something, how he is when he's immature. But I've also seen a more mature version of him. Sometimes that's what allows us to say, does this person have a place in my life? And if so, what place do they have now that I know what I'm working with? I know the range of behaviors. So what does that mean? That might help her decide who he is in her life moving forward. Is he somebody I would feel safe giving my heart to again? Is he somebody I would just be glad that I met and, we'll be friends forever now? I don't know. She has to decide that, but it does leave the power, I think, in her hands. Please remember, this could be same-sex couple. This could be totally reversed gender roles. So it's not about her and him. This whole thing could have been about two men, could have been about two women. It's just, I go with what we see on the cards because it helps to keep track of the characters. Otherwise, I literally have to give them names. And that can get really confusing if I have to make up names that are also like neutral. So I just go with him and her. I feel like this is, it does depend, since they're the ones coming with the apology, because they're the ones who have felt like they messed something up in the past and they would like to course correct that. I think that's why she's in the power position of deciding what happens next. Do I allow them into my life for more than just this conversation? So yes, there is a power dynamic here, but it's, keep in mind, she showed up as a Queen of Swords. So she's fair and balanced. Also, we don't see like heaping of shame on anybody. We just see this straightforward clearing of the air. So I do really think that straightforward energy, if nothing else, these two will be able to walk away from this, if that's what's going to happen, and not have bad karma still sitting between them. It will be a full, like, you know what? That was great to talk to him. That totally cleared the air. I'm not mad at him. He's not mad at me. We're not hating on each other, but we're not meant to be. So we can just end things now as friends with no hostilities. That at minimum would be freaking amazing. But I'm still leaning towards saying there's a lot of good that has come of this conversation and their past interaction as well as this present. So for them, anything is actually possible. All right, you guys, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you guys. It's great to see you. Thank you so much for giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. I so appreciate you guys. It does really help the channel. It's kind of the only way videos can circulate is when there's, the algorithm has to favor it, which means interaction and watch time and all those factors. So that's true for everybody's channel. So anytime you're watching something, any of the free content creators out there that you enjoy, you guys do not know how much that simple little thumbs up actually means for us. So thank you guys. Calm Seas, thank you, love. Courtney Jade, Cherry Coleman, EM, hi, sweetheart. LaRonda, your honor, you're so awesome. Oh, do you hate me? Is that what it is? I can tell. Anyway, I wish you a beautiful day. Oh, was that a tear? I'm sorry. I didn't know, LaRonda. I'm delighted you're here either way, though, sweetheart. But I'm sorry if it was a sad one at all. Erica, hi, hun. I'm sorry. I couldn't tell what the emoji was, LaRonda. You are so sweet. I'm sure that's just your own inner strength, beauty. Thank you for being here, though. Patricia Bucator, wonderful to see you. RS. Ken Ramey, happy Saturday. Timothy Gorman, hey, hey. Sabrina, oh, Angel, thank you. Doing great. I baked a turkey this morning. I'm making a smashed potato salad and a carrot salad and some toasted onion rings. I know it sounds weird together, but I'm hoping it'll work. We'll see. Sanmoy, hey babe, how are you? Sarah J, so good to see you. Intuitive Empress 111. Bar Miraz L, thank you for being here. Moonlight Shadow, hey, hey. Lindsay D, you're so sweet. Kaween 4444, nice to catch you. 01 Frequency, Jeannie Vale. Just me, wonderful to see you. Oh, good, and I hope that the internet was smoother today. Kristen Alphabet, so good to see you, my lollipop lady. How are you doing out there in Charlotte? Erica, Annie S. Oh, good, Annie S. I'm sorry, I got that Capricorn story out so late last night. Capricorn and Aries technically came out early this morning, so I was up to like 1 or 2. But everything just gets so wonky sometimes. But in any case, guys, I will be doing Aquarius today, NES. I will be doing Pisces, Sag. I think we've got Scorpio and Taurus slated for today. We might get one more in there, but I think we'll probably roll Gemini and Ophiuchus over to Sunday. It just depends because I've got things I got to take care of, and it's 12, 24. Yeah. Anyway, we'll do as many as we can today, but that's the intention. Cassie, thank you for being here. And of course, Sun Truth VZN, you were the first in the house. Robin, Lori, Carl Fike, how are you? D. Rogers, hi, beauty. So good to catch you. Decoria Bird, hey, babe. You are so awesome. Erica, thank you. Hello, smile, please. Oh, Anisha Chatu, I'm actually cooking dinner to take it over to somebody else's house. So, Decoria Bird, I am delighted. It's always so good to see you. Thank you for being here. Thanks for popping by on a Saturday. Lacey D, High Priestess. Thank you. Lacey D, that's so awesome. Rachel's Magic. Yeah, I'm going to try that smashed potato salad. I like smashed potatoes, the ones where you steam them and then you cool them and then you smush them and then you crisp them up in the oven. They're in the oven now. I have to go check on them, actually. They've been in there for just a little bit. What is this, 38 minutes? Yeah, I better go check them. All right, you guys. Lots of love. EM, I had you at potatoes. I'm not a real potato eater, but I do like smashed potatoes because they're crispy. All right, guys. Bye for now. Lots of love.